We're very excited to be here. Coming in through the doors and seeing all the teams arrive and stuff really creates reality for the competition. We've worked really, really hard to get here, and we can't wait to show our skills and our presentation to everyone around that's coming to the CFO Case Study Competition.
And is there anything that you're most nervous about, and what is that thing and why?
Not most nervous, but unexpected questions from the judges. But believe us, we're going to answer them and give them the information that they need, and we're going to make it to the top 3.
Did you really expect that you would be standing here today under the top 6? Is it something that came as a surprise, or you expected it?
No, we knew from the beginning. We would just have faith in each other and positivity, and here we are today.
Congratulations once again. And what can we expect from you going forward into the semi-finals?
You can expect nothing but fire from us. We'll bring innovative ideas that will solve Among Us issues. We are so ready for this.
The Amango case, researched, designed and developed by the CharterQuest Institute, is based on a real-world multinational business within the global metal and mining industry. It simulates the strategic decisions its group CFO and board faced or potentially faces. The group is faced with the complex interplay of strategic threats, weaknesses and opportunities, some of which are embedded with serious ethical dilemmas, involving compelling individuals and powerful stakeholders that create a context for significant organizational change. The board has published a 3-year viability statement and turnaround strategy with emphasis on 4 policy objectives. 1. Restructure the portfolio. 2. Deleverage the balance sheet. 3. Drive operational discipline. And 4. Change dividend policy. 6 major issues have surfaced that require the group's attention, for which the board has asked the teams to prioritize, evaluate, and offer strategic advice. Managing divisional performance group-wide. A strategic performance measure relied upon to evaluate and reward executives appears to be creating some dysfunctional behaviors with unintended consequences. The CFO Global aspirants were required to apply concepts relevant to financial and performance management, strategic management, as well as cost and management accounting. Strategic joint venture decision in Canada. A native Aboriginal group in Canada has been on rampage against mining companies, singling out Amango for exploiting mineral resources with too little benefit accruing to their clan. A number of mining companies, including Amango, are going into JV arrangements to mitigate this risk and undertake coal mining projects following resurgence in coal prices. There is need to decide on the best configuration for the mining infrastructure, amongst others. The CFO global aspirants were required to apply concepts relevant to risk and decision management, people and relationship management, as well as a clear distinction between traditional and modern cost management accounting techniques. Strategic disposal in Brazil. Amango, as part of an ongoing asset restructuring program, has received a $1.5 billion offer to buy one of its subsidiaries in Brazil. The offer needs to be evaluated taking into account its interconnection with the corporate reconstruction and reorganization issue. The CFO global aspirants were required to apply concepts relevant to financial reporting, international financial management, as well as strategic management. Balance sheet deleverage or share repurchase. Amango's iron ore and coal disposal plans in South Africa has come under attack by the PIC, its single largest shareholder, who is threatening to dump its shares in the market if it proceeds with the disposal plan. In a separate development, the government is about to promulgate a new set of mining regulations that will impose a 10% royalty tax on the turnover of all mining companies and require them to surrender 26% of their ownership to historically disadvantaged persons as part of its Black Economic Empowerment (BEE) policies. The company is considering to rather sell part of its residential property portfolio to a BEE group and use the funds to meet specified objectives. The CFO global aspirants were required to apply concepts relevant to financial accounting, interest rate risk management, financial management, business ethics, industrial and community relations, the management of government relations, as well as strategic management, operational risk and industrial action in Australia. A controlled shutdown has been hurriedly effected in one of the group's mines in Australia, with 560 personnel evacuated due to safety concerns. 6 are reported dead, and 80 miners trapped in deep underground mines have been rescued. The incident has invited us notice to strike from the trade unions, and there is a protected strike that is already in motion. The CFO global aspirants were required to apply relevant costs and benefits, financial management, public relations management, human resources management, supply chain management, operations and safety management, as well as business ethics, corporate reconstruction and reorganization. There is a fierce board debate over the strategic direction of the group, impacting on the decision as to which businesses to sell and which ones to keep. The CFO global aspirants were required to apply concepts relevant to ROI, RI, EVA, and strategic management. Best wishes to the teams.
In this presentation today, we will be addressing Amango's issues and relaying our recommendations. We have considered many factors, and we hope by the end of this presentation, you'll be able to see what we see in the mining industry's future. I will hand you over to Bryan, who will present to us the prioritization of issues as well as the strategic disposal in Brazil.
The 4 major issues we'll be addressing in order of importance are as follows: the strategic disposal in Brazil, the strategic joint venture decision in Canada, reconstruction and reorganization, and managing divisional performance. We will also be addressing the other 2 issues as well as presenting our amazing energy sustainable initiative. The first and most important issue, as per our prioritization, is the strategic disposal in Brazil. Amango, having just received a final offer to sell each share in AMA MP, needs to determine whether or not to sell, and if so, is the offer fair. We determined using the free cash flow valuation method, whilst consulting with AMA NP's net asset value, that it is in the best interest of Amango to accept the recently received offer. We also recommend that it is in the best interest of Amango to use the proceeds to lower Amango's net group debt to align with its 3-year viability study. Various factors as seen in our PESTEL analysis, being policy conflicts, social unrest, and equipment life cycle, as well as many others, favor the disposal of non-core mines. Factors as seen in our SWOT analysis, being various strengths and opportunities, such as regaining Amango's credit rating and being in existence for over 100 years, will, together with the disposal of non-core mines, decrease various threats and weaknesses, such as government regulations and CO2 emissions and various others. We recommend that it is in the best interest of Amango and to protect them from currency fluctuations, they enter into a hedging contract. Should Amango enforce our recommendations, it will see them attaining their 3-year viability study and put them in a much better financial position.
Our second issue is the strategic joint venture in Canada, whom Munyaradzi will present.
Ladies and gentlemen, Amango has decided to resume its coal mining in Canada through its newly created company, Quinda. However, we are being faced with few challenges. The first one is the social unrest, which is affecting the successfulness of this joint venture. The second issue is which mining decision should we choose amongst the 3 given designs. After careful considerations and preparing of the estimated income statements, we strongly recommend that Amango should use design 2 as it yields more profit compared to the rest of the designs. Furthermore, we have applied standard deviation to each design's probability distribution, and again, design 2 is the lowest standard deviation. We therefore strongly recommend that Amango should go with design 2. Now, pertaining the social unrest in Canada, we recommend that Amango should include locals through its local city councils, should include the representatives of Idonomo in its economic development agenda. This does not only mitigate the effects of the social unrest, but it is also in line with the Amango's mission through the principles of corporate governance through Pillar C, the social political pillar.
As per our prioritization, our third issue is the reconstruction and reorganization. Xolani will now present this.
Thank you, Maxine. Ladies and gentlemen, it is very important for each and every business or organization to make sound strategic decisions in order to utilize the resources to an optimum level. We are facing an issue of corporate reconstruction and reorganization in Amango's business. This issue needs a strategic decision to be implemented. The challenge on this issue is on choosing the best option from 2 contradicting options presented on the table. The CEO proposes that we should dispose non-core assets. The board chair argues that non-core assets should be disposed of, as Donald Trump's election slogan is all about infrastructure improvement. Now the question is, how do we solve this? How do we deal with such a devastating issue? Well, it is usually said that there is a solution to each and every problem, or each and every problem has a solution. We therefore critically and carefully analyzed the different options, methods, and techniques available and relevant to this issue. After the critical analysis, we advised that non-core assets should be disposed of. We also calculated the return on investment for each of Amango's 8 segments, as could be seen on screen. After obtaining the results of this one great method, we advised that the Amango should close the nickel segment, and it should restructure the corporate and other segment, and Amango would rather focus on profitable segments.
As per our prioritization, our fourth issue is the managerial divisional financial performance measurement. We're faced with an issue that many companies have trouble with, deciding on what is the best method to use when measuring financial performances. We have decided the best method to use is the residual income method. This method will motivate managers to make decisions that are in the best interest of the company as well as themselves. We will also implement quality measures such as staff turnover, days lost to injury, productivity measures, and others. Finally, we'll implement a marginal costing system to eliminate the influence of closing stock on year end. Now, for our amazing, fully sustainable initiative. Mango has been in operations for over 100 years and mining since prehistoric times. The mining industry's core business has never changed. Changes happen due to social influences, such as how society sees the mining industry. As a multinational company, it is Mango's responsibility to reduce their carbon footprint. This raises a vital question. How should Mango mine? The answer to this question is to implement our initiative. This initiative reaps benefits such as a cost reduction, an increase in profits, an increase in employee satisfaction, an increase in possible jobs, and an increase in the life expectancy of Mango. Let's go through the process. M9 is a molecule made up of hydrogen atoms that absorbs carbon dioxide gas and converts it into a carbon dioxide liquid. This liquid will then be sent and stored into wells to be used in the 3 following processes. Our first process is an algae farm process, in which the carbon dioxide liquid will feed the algae farm. This will then be converted into biofuel to be used to run machinery and trucks. Oxygen will be its byproduct. Our second process is a thermal plant process, in which the carbon dioxide liquid will be heated and sent through a turbine to be converted into electricity. Our third and final process is to store the excess carbon dioxide liquid 2 kilometers injected underground. This initiative could change the way the mining industry's future mines. We believe that this is an amazing opportunity for Mango to be the first fully sustaining plant. We look forward to your questions at the end. I'll now hand you over to Bryan and Xolani, who will present notes to the board.
There are 2 issues that we would like to present to Mango. The first being balance sheet delivery or share buyback. Due to the location of the mines in South Africa, the permitting requirements, and the muting of the mining charter by the South African government, we would recommend that we would first await the publish of the mining charter before recommending a conclusive recommendation.
The second note is operational risk and industrial action in Australia. 560 employees were evacuated due to safety concerns. Due to the huge impact and lack of safety regulations, we advise that the mine should be closed for now.
And finally, we would like to thank you for giving us this opportunity to relay our well thought through recommendations. We look forward to your questions and comments.
Thank you very much for the presentation. The one thing I missed from the presentation is the people issue. Look, in terms of the deaths, we haven't addressed any of that. If you can just indicate to us, what do you see more important, making profit or looking after your employees? And it didn't come out clearly from your presentation.
You want to take it?
Can take it.
All right. So within the death story, we know that the workforce, that every company needs a workforce. Employees are important. There's a fine line to be walked between making profit and looking after your employees. Without your employees, there would be no profit. With regards to the deaths, we although not in our recommendations, we propose that Mango should investigate the incident that what happened. By closing the mine, we'll see Mango actually looking after their employees, because now they are not subjecting the employees to any more danger in the shafts.
On our prioritization of issues, we based it off strategic and operational. Our
The notes to the board are important, and that is why we felt it was more of an operational discussion between the board and ourselves in terms of the way forward.
Thank you very much, and thank you for the innovative presentation. Just a question based on the priorities that you mentioned that are strategic. Of course, it's strategic. You cannot have long-term, you don't have a short-term. So currently we have in Australia a big issue where we're losing money every single day. You mentioned as a note at the end of the presentation, why this is not taken as a big priority considering that we're losing around 250 million per day, and also what is going to happen with the people over that site. Can you elaborate a little bit more on that? Thank you.
Thank you. We believe that the operational risk and industrial action in Australia is an operational issue which can be dealt with at an operational level. Yes, it is important. That's why we are taking it to that's why we would like the board to take it as a note. But the effect of it is not as important as the other issues that we have. That's why we would like to address it as a note to the board.
To add to what Xolani said, the reason why we didn't take it as strategic, what we are recommending is we close the mine shaft down. What we will then do is on the level of that division, they will then reconstruct the mine shaft. It will take a year to build the new mine shaft. In this time, what we propose is the old buildings that were part of the old shaft. We propose turning them into greenhouses. There is now, in Australia, there is a food shortage of certain food staples, and by that we will use the workers that will now not be working for the year that it will take to build the new shaft. We will propose they come and work in the greenhouses. But this will need to first, the board of the division would first need to make a special resolution on this issue.
Thank you so much, Team Unisa. Your presentation was very refreshing. What I want you to clarify for us as a board is this. Even though you showed us your priorities, but we're not sure what are the considerations for you to state those as, the issues to be prioritized. And probably that's why a key issue like the reconstruction of our business is part of the notes, because in the brief we were very clear to say that we need to make a decision for our sustainability. Hence we asked you to advise us whether we should deleverage and sell off some things or whether we should consolidate. So what is the thinking? I mean, because you actually said on that, you didn't advise us. You said to look for more options or something. So we are left hanging as a board because you haven't told us what must we do.
All right. So with that issue, we have two options that we feel will best suit Amango. They both depend on whether the mining charter gets released or it gets disposed of, as it looks like with the various stakeholders in South Africa. If the mining charter gets released, and it will require the 10% royalties and the 26% of the shares in the companies, what we recommend is that in those companies, what we recommend is Amango's largest shareholder, PRC, are threatening to pull out if we leave South Africa. What we recommend is we buy back their shares, but not by using any cash consideration. What we feel is that the mines in South Africa, of the four, the three, excluding the platinum, we propose we enter like an exchange transaction where we'll give them those mines in exchange for their 20% share. That all depends on the mining chart. If, for instance, the mining charter gets muted and it doesn't get put into place, what we would recommend is keeping the mines. What we will also recommend then is selling the property portfolio and further reducing Amango's debt.
Thanks, guys. I enjoyed the longer term and the innovation ideas that you brought in. One question on that. Do you think that or those projects you're proposing will take your eye off the immediate issues that we have to face as a board, or do you think they complement each other?
We do believe that they complement each other. As a society as a whole, we believe the reason why the mining industry is not doing as well as they used to is because society is becoming more concerned about the environmental impact of the mines. So we see that with the recommendations that we've given or proposed, that they will obviously be considered and that our initiative correlates with the underlying 3-year viability statement as well as the triple bottom line of Amango to help Amango as well as other mines be more profitable and have a better reputation on the environmental impact.
All right, great presentation, and I'm interested in a few things. The first one is your suggestion of the Energy Sustainability Initiative, which is good because it speaks to the 20% focus in terms of environment for the company. However, will you just help the board understand to what extent does this suggestion relate to the 6 issues that you were asked to analyze? The second one is, will you walk the board through what ethical consideration was taken in each step as you analyze the various issues? And finally, how do you then account for the 30% focus on health and safety, which from your explanation has not been prioritized? Thank you.
All right, with your first question on the Energy Sustainable Initiative, if I can clarify, you would like to know why we added it in instead of focusing on the 6 issues, is that correct? Okay. All right. So we felt that in each scenario, in each different country, there are things going on the strategic level that are impacting the profitability of Amango as a whole group. We looked at the strategic joint venture in Canada, and Canada is one of the biggest countries that supports environmental sustainable initiatives. This is where we would like to start this initiative, as they give the most government funding as well as the most support on this initiative. We linked it to specifically that issue. However, this initiative is just a startup. It's a pilot to see how well it does. We believe that it will do well, and then forward in the next 3 to 5 years to see the results of increase in profit and a reduction in cost. We will then move it along to Brazil, Australia, and South Africa, in which other countries of Amango have mines in. So we believe that this initiative touches all issues and will solve all issues as ethically and with the people of providing more possible jobs for them, as well as being environmentally sustainable, which addresses health to the miners, as oxygen will be mostly around the mines now.